Good afternoon. This is Gillie Priest from Gillie Priest Revolutionary Radio. This afternoon, we're going to build the reasoning around the phenomena of deportation and the reference to people who are being deported from various foreign countries back to Jamaica as deportees. Deportees is seen and taken by some to be a very derogatory term for the unfortunate, or in some cases the fortunate, who have been deported back to Jamaica from various foreign countries, the United States, England, Canada, various other Caribbean countries. And for me personally, for the last, say, 25 years, I have followed the news closely to see how deportees, I'm going to use that term within the context of the reason, to see how deportees have been dealt with over the decades upon being returned to the United States. From what I've read and from what I was told, and what I am still being told by people here in Jamaica, is that people who have been forcefully returned to the United States are basically despised. They are looked down on. They are taken to be reprehensible. They are seen as some of the forces that are creating mayhem within the society, involving criminal activity that are not seen as a regular criminal activity that is known to this country. And basically, it is a community of people that have been generally being despised by a large segment of the population. But what I've found upon my return, an added factor to this so-called deportee situation, is the fact that the vast majority of those I have spoken to, as a matter of fact, every single one of those deportees I have spoken to since my return, they have taken a position where they have tried to not only hide from the fact that a large percentage of them are returned as convicted criminals, but they are hiding from the fact that they are deportees. Consequently, a lot of them try to move below the surface, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible to get away from not drawing attention to themselves, and in general not allowing anyone to find out from themselves that they are deportees, due to the stigma that is attached to being a deportee here in Jamaica. I have known of situations where individuals, based upon their educational accomplishments from the United States, upon return to Jamaica, they were able to secure respectable jobs in various institutions. But once it has become known that they were deported back home, they were immediately released from their job. In interrogating these individuals as to why they found it necessary to hide the fact that they are deportees from their employer or potential employer, they all basically say the same thing. They live with this constant fear that once they are discovered to be deportees, they will lose their livelihood. I have known individuals who have been ordered vacated from the premises that they rented. They live in this constant fear. And when I found myself in the situation where I was getting ready to be deported, I was advised against making it known that I too am a deportee. And whenever I was given this advice, I always rebut it. I said, no. I will never hide the fact that I was deported from the United States. I will never hide the fact that I spent 45 years incarcerated in the United States. And I will stand on the fact that I was innocently convicted in the United States. I will not run from either of those facts. So even though I was cautioned against exposing the fact that, yes, I was deported home, ever since my return to this country on May 30th, I have solemnly stood on that square and let it be known that, yes, I'm a deported. I was incarcerated for 45 years. I was innocently incarcerated in the United States based upon false political accusation that they alleged took place in Jamaica. But there's a deeper backstory to a person being deported. And that story is being neglected by both the Jamaican society and by those who have been deported. So I'm going to contextualize certain reality that take place in the United States, in England, and in Canada. The backdrop to the deportation story. Just to shed some light on what this phenomena, what gave birth to this great phenomena of deportation over the last, say, 2 decades, if not more. In the 1970s, in the early 1970s, and I'm going to speak specifically to the United States now. In the early 1970s, law enforcement in the United States were unfamiliar with the Jamaican culture and familiar with our language, unfamiliar with us as an African-based people. At that time in the early 70s, a lot of Jamaicans who were unable to gain employment in the United States based upon a lack of documents. These Jamaicans began opening what they referred to as reefer houses. They would rent apartments and start selling marijuana out of these apartments. Prior to that, Americans who were selling marijuana used to stand on the street corner and sell marijuana. Jamaicans were the ones that started the trend of selling marijuana from outside of apartment, from inside apartment buildings. Subsequently, police officers started to raid these apartments and arresting Jamaicans for the sale of marijuana. And it was basically during these encounters they started to have an interaction with that segment of the Jamaican population. And this is a minute segment of the Jamaican population. The vast majority of Jamaicans in the United States are working people, law-abiding people, obey and follow the rules. But there was another section who, because of a lack of documentation, unable to get job, because of the Rastafari far-right way of living, the only source of income was to delve into the trade of marijuana. And that was how it commenced. Now there's another social factor that is tied into the sale of marijuana. Jamaicans who were attending junior high school and high school in the United States, they were basically unable to participate in American extracurricular after-school activities because of their unfamiliarity with the type of sports that played in the United States. Most Jamaicans or most Caribbean people are familiar basically with cricket, soccer, called football, and athleticism. American football, American baseball, American bat were not their forte. So there was no extracurricular for them to be involved with after school. And a lot of these kids came home when their parents were still at work. So where did they find solace and comfort and recreational activity? These young kids began visiting the reefer houses, not to smoke, but to listen to music, to listen to the older brethren and sisters tell stories about back home, what it's like back home. They used to go to these reefer houses to experience their cultural food. So the reefer houses played a wider activity within the Jamaican and Caribbean community than just selling reefers. A lot of these children that went to these places never engaged in selling reefers. The adults in the apartment would never ever allow them to sell a bag of reefer through that door. So there was where they find some form of socialization and to get away from the extracurricular activity that usually sponsors by the community to the school because they were unfamiliar with them. So when the police officers started to interact, especially in New York, so with this new community, arresting Jamaicans, in order to gain some type of background knowledge, and these what they refer to as criminal elements, they began soliciting police officers from Jamaica and other Caribbean islands to come to the United States to give them some background cultural knowledge on the various citizens from these various countries. The police officers, I'm going to speak specifically now from Jamaica, police officers that came from the Jamaica Constabulary Force and began liaisoning with the New York City police officer, they saw this new interaction as something glorious. They saw it as some type of elevated status to travel to the United States and to cooperate with the New York State and other states' police department to convict their own citizens without having any background knowledge as to whether or not their own citizens are guilty of any crime. There are occasions when I personally have seen Jamaican officers accompanying New York City police officers to arrest Jamaicans, interrogate them, beat them, and then fabricate evidence against the Jamaicans. No, I'm not saying that the Jamaican police officers knew that the evidence were being fabricated evidence. It appears that wasn't their concern whether the evidence was fabricated or not. What I witnessed with my eyes was how thoroughly they enjoyed and reveled, some even testifying in courts, becoming pompous while on the witness stand because they were declared by the court to be expert witnesses when dealing with your fellow countrymen. Now, from another angle, it is widely known and accepted by the general United States population and all interested parties that at least 10% of everyone who gets convicted in the United States are innocent. 1 out of every 10, 10 out of every 100. And that's a very conservative estimation. Now let's go back to the deported population. What percentage of that population do you believe is innocent of the charges for which they were convicted and deported? Do you know that all deportees does not necessarily have a criminal charge? That there are a lot of deportees have civil charges, which basically mean they overstay their visas or they enter the country illegally, which is a civil process. Yet when they get deported to Jamaica, they are treated like any common criminal. This is what stigmatizes that group. This is what causes members of that group to basically be living in hiding, in the shadows of fear. That is the position that I was advised by some of my own comrades. Not from a negative perspective, but begging me and telling me, Gillie priest, if you step out there, you're gonna be stigmatized, and they were gonna deny you your rights. And you know what my rebuttal always is? Should I hide in the shadows, I'll be denying myself the rights that I am entitled to under the statutes, laws, and constitution of this country. It makes no difference whether or not I had committed a crime in the United States or not. What is of importance to most people is that I myself and others have not been convicted of any crime right here in Jamaica. We talk about academia, we talk about those who are intelligent, you talk about those who are educated, you talk about those who are well-read. Well, if so be the case, we all understand the social fabric of the United States. We know that the United States, Canada, England, and other European countries are some of the most racist, if not the most racist country in this world. And if we can look at and accept that fact, why can't you accept the fact that a lot of these deportees were unconstitutionally convicted and deported from the United States? No, you know why you can't accept it? You can't accept it because of the deep subconscious and unconscious love that you have for the foreign pagans. You worship foreign pagans. And anything foreign pagans say is law for you. That is why I want to rest the way I want to rest. That is why I want to stigmatize and fight against people who are deported. Even the dumb and illiterate in this country fight against deported. Worse if them beg your money and you don't have the money to give them. See? So the backdrop to this story, let's look at the social fabric of the countries from which these your own citizens were deported. Why do you take this position that everyone who is deported from a foreign country committed a crime? Why is it you believe and give honor and respect to a judicial system in these foreign countries that admit to their own citizens the shortcoming of their own judicial system? Yet when these citizens of yours return to your country, you act as if they were processed through a judicial system that was worth any level of respect. Yeah. So that is the backdrop to the deportation story. No one pays attention to the social fabric, the injustices, the racism, the discrimination, the prejudice that their own citizens suffered in these foreign lands. Yet when they return, you take that same stigmatized conviction record and use it to lambast your own citizen. I cannot have any respect for you or anyone of that mental state, man. And based upon the fact of my lack of respect for that type of mental capacity, I will never hide from any single individual in or out of this country the tribulations that I face and went through. And that is the reason why I wrote my story in this book, Forged by Time, and exhibited the evidence that led to my imprisonment. All that false evidence is written right there. And I'm not the only one. I know tens of Jamaicans and other Caribbean island people who were falsely accused, tried, convicted, sentenced, and then deported. And you telling me that I should come to Jamaica, the land of my birth, the land where my ancestors was enslaved and exploited for 400 years, and I must come here and hide? Before I come here and hide any of that, I rather my blood running at the street. Running at the street before I do that. You think I going to come to this country and I have merits to attain certain type of employment or certain type of access protected by my statutory and constitutional right, and I going to accept from any Jamaican or any foreigner that you're going to discriminate against me based on what some white man write on a paper and send me to Jamaica, while I am here and watching foreigners enjoying the liberty and rights that my ancestors fight and die for, and then them going to turn around and deny me? I'm a madman. I'm a straight mad. Straight mad. Jamaica is mine, and Jamaica is ours, and I have rights, and I will not accept from any individual, I don't care who it is, I will never accept from any individual the denial of my right. This was secured by my ancestors in this country. So fly high or fly low. What is mine, and I'm going to secure it as mine. I don't need anything from anyone that is not mine. And I have no jealousy in my heart for anything that belongs to the next man. And this grievance that I am voicing on today is tied to a more ancient grievance that I have even experienced in this country. And I'm going to touch upon it, and it is spelled out in the book. For a lot of people who don't know, there was a time in Jamaica when, in order to get into high school, you have to take what they call the common entrance at a certain age, and if you miss the common entrance, you had one final chance that they call the grade 9 achievement test. And because of my traveling back and forth to the United States from a young kid, I never gotten the opportunity to take the common entrance. So one time when I returned to Jamaica, I was able to sit the grade 9 achievement test, and I passed. And at that time, I was a young, budding, upcoming member of the Rastafari community. Even at that young and tender age, yeah. And you know that no school will accept me. So here you have a 13-year-old youth, 13, 14-year-old youth, gaining a government scholarship to enter high school. And you have the guardians of education in this country, the principal and the minister of education and all the underlings. And they're telling me, we don't want you in any school. You do not deserve an education. Yet him make sure for him pitney go to school, you know. Yeah, for him pitney go to school. But him go look on Smadale's pitney. Because him have him Christian dumb mentality. And him slave consciousness. And I say, no, you can't come to school. I'm a fight, I'm getting a school. I'm getting a Marantby High School finally out of St. Thomas. And 2 times the principal for the school fabricated charges against me to try to expel me from the school. And the last time when he finally expelled me from Marantby High School, according to him, I'm bringing the Rastafari fandangles into his school and he does not want it there. I took my scholarship letter to basically every high school in Kingston. At that time I live at Love Lane, 2 Love Lane. I got George's, I got Wolmer's, I got KC, various other schools. I go to some school where people never want to send them dog go. I go down to Trenchtown Comprehensive, I go to Tivoli Garden Comprehensive, I go to St. Andrew Technical. Every single school reject me. Because I practice Rastafari as a little youth. Now watch it, you know. My mother and father accept me as that, you know. But the guardians of education in this country was determined to deny me an education. So I tell you where the fight, where my grievance come from. When it comes to the denial and abuse of my rights inside of this country. It never started when we return as a deportee. It started from the inception when I start to craft my own way of thinking, craft my independence. And yet, I have a high academic standard because I pass the test. And people who were appointed as the guardian of education in this country, the same people who say the key to liberation is education, are the same people who will try to deny me education in this country. While them are feeling pitney education. And then you go tell me, say me go foreign now. And when me go foreign, me enroll in a Manhattan Technical College. And then me go prison. And me enroll in a various other colleges, Mercy College, Columbia University, Bard College, New York Theological Seminary. All of them colleges there were run by European. Not one of them ever denied me access to them educational institution. Think on that, you know. If me did have a weak mentality, me would be one of those who say, oh, black people are good. So you want black people deny you access to education and see the white man give it to you there. Yeah, because I know enough man will say that too. But me not going to say that. So after I go through that tribulation in America, falsely accused as a person I'm not. Falsely accused of a crime I never committed. Serve 45 years innocently in a prison in America. Get deported back to Jamaica. And you going to tell me, say, me must come to Jamaica now and bow to them discrimination. After I never did bow to them, I was 12, 13 years old. Go read the Jamaican Gleaner and see when I writing at the Gleaner at 13 years old about being denied right to education. I'm going to go to prison in America and spend 45 years. I never have to do the 45 years because what them they want me to do was fabricate evidence against the Jamaican government. Say the Jamaican government involved in a drug deal and I could have go home 45 years ago. Read it in the book. I never go for that. I do every day out of the 45 years. and I don't regret it. And I will never regret it. Because I go stand on my square. Because I stand on it from 12, 13 years old when them try to kick me out of school in Jamaica. And me must return to Jamaica now. And make people put fear in my heart that I can't stand on my square and tell them the reality of the tribulation when I go to because I want to get a job. And after me meet the threshold for me get my rights. All people when I born here, we never slave for this. Me have to go in front of them and beg them for a job. And when I beg them for a job, me have to hide my life experience to satisfy them. And if them do find out my life experience, they might go say, well, you hear me, Mr. Aaron. Based upon your conviction in the United States, you will not access this. And when you are denying me that, you live off of the fruit of my ancestors' labor. No, man. No family. No family. Me no love life that much. Me no love life that much when I go submit to anything family. No. Me no love life that much. And my appeal here today is not just for myself. My appeal here today is to every person that was ever deported from all of these Babylonian countries, not only to Jamaica, but to the rest of Caribbean and all them African countries there. Because them go back with some type of civil or criminal conviction. In a large cases, a lot of them were unjustified. I know a virgin from Manchester, where I come from. The man get deported because he want to drive a car with a broken backlight, which a woman asked him to come pick her up at a club because she was drunk. He never knows that the light broke. And they mash up the man's life, take him away from his family and dash him down here. And when him come down here now, he have to go face discrimination. Because nobody name go, even if them find out what him doing for, them name not go ask him when he get deported. They must say, oh, dirty criminal boy. That's the reality of it. Nobody wants to deal with the backdrop. When you contact the Jamaican government from prison, you tell them, say, listen man, these people are framework. These people setting us up. These people are fabricating evidence. These government from the Caribbean write you back and tell you, well, there is nothing we can do because we cannot intervene in the judicial process. Well, if you cannot intervene in the judicial process, why when these people come and ask you for favor to convict your own system, that's when you can intervene in the judicial process? Explain that to me now. How to convict your own citizens you can intervene, but when to exonerate your citizens you cannot intervene. What sense that make? That follow the same sequential logic. Every time you look up, you go to a man, but every time the man look up, you can never reach him yet and give him something. But the same mentality that. And that is what disgusts me of what's taking place in this society. So when my brethren them, people who mean me well, began advising me, no, Gillie priest, when you go down there, man, just lay low. Don't bring up to nobody say you get deported. Don't bring up to nobody say because them are going to discriminate. I not participate in my own discrimination and hold down, man. If you are hold me down by yourself. But me not go willingly participate there. Me not quiet about when I go through in America with them dirty people out there. You understand? So when I deal with the brethren and sister, I tell you, I meet a sister in the other day. I mean, she attack and with us a reason, platonically. And I say, yeah man, I just come down from the US, come down about 2 months ago. I say, yeah man, I deported, I get deported. And then she hugged me, come close, so nobody couldn't hear. She said, they deport me from Canada too. That's what she said. So it will show you the stigmatization. The stigmatization with people living in fear and have to hide, to maintain whatever humanity and respect them deserve from their own little community. this trial and tribulation also remind me a lot of time when people say to me, when I say, well, Gillie Priest, you go to Jamaica and you're very intelligent, you know. This is what my virgin them always say. You're very intelligent and you're very educated, but you know, believe say if you trim, you will get a better break in Jamaica. Yeah. Them say if you trim, you will get a better break. Then I say, alright. If trimming will give me a better break, or so much barley down there suffer. Explain that part to me. You think how much dreadlocks suffer in Jamaica? You think how much dreadlocks intelligent and have education, we can't find employment or give them the opportunity to create their own employment? Well, I'm going to the sad news. More barley down there suffer than Rastaman, because most Rastaman realize him have to live on his own independence. At least him realize it early from his discriminatory experiences when him and his family and his loved ones and his brethren and his sister pass through. Me personally, I not do nothing for please Babylon. I do what please me because it's one life. See? So me going to remain respectful. I go and remain crime free because I don't commit crimes. And any crime that I will ever deliberately commit is because I'm going to do it from a civil disobedience position. Because I'm straight up. I'm not criminal. I'm not criminal. I will defend mine, but I'm not criminal. I'm not one of them and they will glorify criminal activity. See? But I understand at the same time that some people, that's what society force them into. That's what society push them off into. I have a brother who come down here with all a master's degree and 2 bachelor degree and the man if you wash pot in a restaurant, a pot that I wash. I mean I say that in a no negative light on him. Because I try to survive. I say that in a negative life from the perspective where the society force a man like him to have something to contribute in a position like that. Why that man don't have access to the educational institutions? Why that man does not have access to certain civic organizations that can help rehabilitate those within the circumference that need rehabilitation while making a living? You know? Well, I think you realize about a lot of us, we like cheerleaders. We like sit back and glorify in people cheering for us. We want to drive the big car and live in the big house and have the most of the opposite sex around us and other people admire us. That's what enough of us love. We don't want the next person to be admired. And we alone and our family to be admired. And this is our mentality there. And somehow we believe so we have to keep down others. It's like bad-minded people. They have to talk bad about other people. Out of a psychological need of feeling good about themselves. They cannot feel good about themselves independently of speaking bad about others. So they carry through the psychological fears of projection. They project their own negative proclivities onto other people. So you have even criminals in this country. Yeah. They look down upon deportees while glorifying your oppressors and their progenitors. Yeah, man. So, in standing upon my square, in sticking to my belief and my faith, and knowing my rights, let me tell you I'm familiar with my rights. Because I'm not just talk about my rights and constitutional protection off at the top of my head. I procured a copy of the Jamaican Constitution years ago and studied, read it over and over more than 10-15 times. Look at the intricacies of it. I know my rights. I know my rights. See, and even though I can stand here and tell you that that constitution was an imposed constitution upon me and my people, though that may be, that is what I have to use to defend until a new constitution comes into being. And what irks me the most is when you have people who propagate the value of education. And I care back to my youth years, who propagate the value of education and turn around and try to deny me and others access to that education, knowing that denying people to that can further criminal activity within the society. So on one hand, they were lit against criminal activity, but on the next hand, their disposition is manufacturing more criminal element in the society. And them with them little intelligence still can see the contradiction in their ways and wishes. Real talk, man. Real man talk, man. So, we're there at Jamaica now. And start get my documents them together. Get the required documents in order to get employment. And I go through the process. I start make contact with certain people in order to seek employment. So far, I've gotten some positive response from some people who have the capability to maybe offer me or seek or attain for me some form of employment. I really don't get a face-to-face negative response. And through wire communication using technology, I don't really get a negative response either. So I can say, on a personal level, I have not yet gotten a response from a potential employer who is basically saying we will not or we cannot employ you based upon a criminal conviction that took place in a foreign country. And it gives me a certain comfort level to know that I'm not going to hide it. I will never hide it. Which man that is innocent with a true liberated mind is going to hide the fact that he was falsely accused, convicted, sentenced, and deported? No. But yet I still believe that those other brethren and sisters who are being deported, though that they may have committed a crime, the fact that they have not committed a crime in this country and they are born citizens of this country, I don't believe that they should hide the fact that they were convicted and deported, whether civilly or criminally. I do not believe that. But to each his own. And I empathize with those who believe that it is necessary, that in order for them to secure their livelihood, they have to hide it. Well, I empathize with you. I can't really tell you what to do, but I can tell Gillie priest what to do. This society, it gets up every day and it cries and screams about crime, especially crime in which people have lost their lives. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that people who are being deported have not participated or indulged in certain heinous crime. And all of them type of crime, we step on it. We step on it, man. We step on it. Because we can't have society a cry so. So the last couple of minutes when I go turn to the brethren them will get deported. The brethren and sisters them will get deported, but especially the brethren them. I said to the brethren them, say, for that what percentage of deported that's involved in certain heinous crime in this country, Especially when you talk about crime where it's not come from the threat of your own life. Straighten up yourself, man. No for to know me, man. No for to know me. Straighten up yourself, man. Certain life of crime, if you get Lego, man. Especially when you reach at a certain age. And this is the reason, and I have nothing to do with what Babylon think about it. Or what Babylon say, or what Babylon feel. I and I a reason now. I and I a reason now. We can't make our own parents, and make our own friends, and make our own neighbors, and make our own community live in fear because of our action. No, man, certain things have to outgrow, man. Certain things have to outgrow. The anger where you have at society, especially those who have the anger, were outgrown from the injustice upon them in foreign lands. And they say you have to go express your anger, man. They say you have to go express your anger. The people them down here where you're around in your community and down the lane, none of them engender the anger they in you. None of them take you away from your family. None of them rob your material things you did have a family and send you back empty and did at Jamaica. The people might do that up so. But when you go to people in a Jamaica, and where your rights give you a circle entitlement, and these gatekeepers of society should choose to deny you your statutory and constitutional rights that your ancestors secure and bequeathed to you, you have a right to defend that. I'm not care how you defend it. Because let me tell you something, you know. I have a little basic philosophy when I try to live by. When a man deny you your constitutional and statutory rights, he's telling you, he or she is telling you within that same act of denying you that they do not value their own statutory and constitutional rights. When a man deny you what is yours, you have the right to deny that man what is his. Yeah, man, you have that right. So when I sit and meet with the representative of bureaucracy, I sit and speak with them from a place of knowing my rights. And when them look at me and them tell me, you can't do this or I can't do that, and they make any reference to a foreign conviction, there and then is when it gets personal now. Because him or she who is doing that denial step outside of the law. Because the law so them can't do that. Them step outside of the law and is now enforcing their own wishes and desire upon me. So now it's me and you now. Because you're gone outside of the authority that was given to you. You no longer following the authority that was given to you. You're gone on a personal level now. Me I go deny you these rights because I not like you. I not like what you represent. I not like what you stand for. So for all those who can identify with someone or know someone who was deported, male or female, you know where them I got through. Some of you are the protagonists to their own existence. Some of you are the ones who are hostile against these brethren and sisters who return home. So the judicial system, we said to our brethren we lose him top job, you know. When them find out say he must have deport him, lose him top job. I work in a big institution. And I say, brethren, Why you never carry it go to court? Why you never stand up for your rights? Why you make them people just should be around so? Brethren say Gillie priest, I understand your position about you have to go look at the next job immediately. And in trying to secure an income immediately, I still have to go to the next place and lie to them again. Which technically he never lied the first time. All him explained it to me was, nowhere on the farm was he asked, had he ever been convicted? Nowhere on the farm. But when they found out and decided to fire him, the excuse was that in the conversation and interview, he should have revealed it. That is the reason given why them fire him. So at no stage, neither during the paperwork, nor during the interview, was he asked, was he ever convicted of a crime. But the position of the agency was that you should have volunteered that information. Well, as for me lead with that fact, you know. Anytime me meet anyone on any occasion, under any circumstances, when me open my mouth, I guarantee you in the first 2-3 minutes, make them know, you see me, 45 years of prison, get deported, May 30th. And through my story long, I don't have time for you explain it to you, but if you're really curious enough, see the book there. Forged by Time. You can know everything about me where you want to know. All the evidence in there. And that is where we're reaching at the society. So my appeal is also to the brethren and sisters in the deported. Stand up, man. Make your voice be heard. Defend your rights in the court, man. You have agency downtown when you know as public defender office, man. You can go down there and file a grievance and pressure them to pursue resulting in the judicial system. Yet I still recognize that there are those who are fearful, who do not want no repercussion. That one thing with deportees, especially in Jamaica, you know. If you are killed by the law, or you are killed by the outlaw, as soon as them find out you was a deported, there is no sympathy or empathy with you, man. Dog, eat your supper right around the table. You understand? We say true, me have little respect for certain people who should have known better and don't act like them know better. I don't care about them opinion. We dismiss them easy. I don't care which chair them sit down on in a society. I don't care what title in front of them name or behind them name or the lack of title. You come across me like an idiot, I'm going to treat you like an idiot. And you try to deny me my rights, I'm going to make you know you're not going to do that. You're not going to deny me my statutory and constitutional rights and then jump in your Benz and go on a Jackson and left me for walla in the situation where you create for me. No, family. Me honor the blood of my ancestors, the blood and died for this land. I mean it literally. We can identify my ancestors, them who bled for this and died for this. I don't talk about no right where it's given on a piece of paper. I talk about the right where our ancestors dead for. And you're going left where you left from and come here. And you're going to be the children and descendants of collaborators. Today you sit down in the seats of power and decision making and you're going to turn around and tell me, say, because some white people are foreign right down on a piece of paper say me commit a crime, you're going to take that as a fact and deny me? No man. Like what the old people them used to say, no sanky no sing so. No sanky no sing so, family. no sanky, no sin, so. We are going to deal with honor and respect, you know. And we are going to obey the law. And we are going to follow the Constitution in whatever we do. And we have to recognize, and I will recognize, if I am being denied anything, if I am denied in the proper ways and form in which it should be denied, I want to be one of them persons who can live with that, man. I'm mature enough for me can look on a situation and say, you know what, you'll try to get over upon that, but him catch you, and him catch you the right way. Easy. I mean, easy, man. But me nah family, me nah go sit down and see the rights of me entitled to. When my Asian people give to me. Rights, so some rights are rights we are born with. A man on earth now give you. You have rights we are naturally born with. About the mere fact of being a human being. And a man will look on me and tell me say based on fit him own agenda and proclivities, access shall be denied. And me when call myself a man and a human being, and take that and go sit down in a corner and moan and groan. No family. I mean, I dare not tell a man what to do, you know. But I will suggest to virgins, you don't need to come out in the work, man. Come out in the work, man. We don't have numbers who can organize, but we can organize and secure our rights better. More better than when you're hiding in the shadow and you get some little eat off and left off a table. Some are highly educated, others are well intelligent even if they are not educated. How can you impose such a stigma upon yourself because society tries to impose it upon you? You must have faith in your own capability, you know, brothers and sisters. Have faith in your own capabilities, man. Knowing that your capability is not diminished due to the fact that you have been deported. No, man, if you have capability, you have it anywhere upon the face of the earth, man. I'm confident enough, I can go in any circle. Talk the way I talk, look the way I look, and can hold my own. Yeah, you must have that confidence, man. We're not talking about false confidence, but you know you have it. And you're not going into a forum where you say you are better than anyone else in that forum. But you are going with that confidence. You are going with that knowledge that anytime you enter the room, you must consider yourself the most important person in that room. Why are you the most important person in that room? Because you have to speak on your own behalf. Others cannot. Especially if you will not. So in closing, brethren, that is my appeal to the society in general and to the deportees, male and female in particular. Rally and unite, man. Stand up for your rights, man. Don't let people trample you. Always remember your ancestors that they bled and died for this, man. And it is yours by birthright. So until next time, this is Gillie Priest and Gillie Priest Revolutionary Radio. Aluta continue. Blessed honor and respect to each and every one.